Representative Chip Roy from Texas is mad about people politicizing Representative Ron Wright's death. He's the first congressman to die of COVID. He was a big anti-masker. And people are, and Representative Chip Roy says we shouldn't politicize Ron Wright's death. In fact, even noting that he died of COVID is a politicization of his death, according to this guy. And, well, let's play the clip.
And look, this is the left doing what the left does. They're politicizing this virus, politicizing the death of a public servant. Here's what people won't say in the nation, or these leftist rags that are attacking congressmen like Ron Wright, is that for 2 years he's been battling cancer bravely and courageously. His body was ravaged with cancer. I know, I'm a cancer survivor. He and I have been talking. I visited with him in the fall, and they were taking precautions and being careful. Yeah. But he felt obliged. He was reelected by the people that he represents in Arlington, Texas. And he and Susan got in their car, and they drove across the country so he could be in D.C. for the swearing in. Yeah. I don't know how he caught the virus, but I know that he was a great man, a great public servant, and we should remember him for his public service, remember him for the courage of battling cancer right through the end.
Right. I mean, let me say this, okay? I obviously, you know, my heart goes out to people who have cancer, and I applaud them fighting cancer. If this guy was not the first congressman to die of COVID or congressperson to die of COVID, I would never know his name. I've never heard of him before. I'm not from Texas. I don't know all 435 Congress people. And the idea that you don't politicize. I mean, first off, this guy had a long record of tweeting out, of politicizing COVID through his tweets. I mean, look at, you know, he, go ahead, put up the last couple of things. Do we have anything that were his tweets on his, about masks? He was an anti-masker. And he also was criticizing teachers. Look at this one. Okay.
1-2 punch. Look at that.
Democrats are choosing teacher union special interests over the well-being of our students. The CDC says schools can open safely if proper precautions are taken. What are we waiting for? Now, a couple of things on this point. One, the vast majority of Americans, or at least a plurality of Americans, believe that are supportive of teachers and teacher unions not going in and bringing their kids into the classroom because we have received no funding for schools to deal with this. So it's like saying, why are people afraid to jump off a building? If they have wings and can fly, it's not going to be a problem. And we've got to stop kowtowing to all these people who are afraid to jump off the building. As long as they have the proper wings to fly, then there shouldn't be an issue. Well, the bottom line is there's been no concerted effort in this country to figure out how to make sure that schools are safe. Some schools, more expensive schools, are getting ventilation systems and people are being kept safe. And there's like testing for kids. You know, private schools, they test the kids like, you know, every other day or something. We're not seeing that money being paid out to protect schools and to help develop this stuff. And we had no national guidance on this. And here's this guy attacking them as if they're just being, you know, afraid for no reason. He's politicizing this.
What's the date on that tweet?
That one was on February 5th. So that's his second to final tweet.
Yeah, that was
he like actively had COVID at that time.
I mean, I think it's probably his staff that was tweeting. I think we have a situation like that going on.
But even so, you know, the staff felt it, despite him laying in the hospital.
Oh yeah,
dying with COVID, the political agenda of denying all of the scientific evidence that surrounds COVID, that's more important.
What I love about Republicans, you see this over and over, is like when they're stuck, when they know that they have no way out of an argument, they immediately go to, why are you politicizing this? Why are you politicizing anything? It's like politics doesn't overlap with life. And that actually reveals themselves even more. It's like, actually, we do politics because we want to improve people's lives and save lives. Why are you doing it then?
Is there any better example of anything that has ever existed than the politicization that COVID has proved how much of our existence is political and subject to politics? Not, tiny politics, but politics in terms of like, how do we decide how we're going to distribute money? How are we going to decide and that's basically, look, that's the whole story.
Should we have a pandemic response unit? That's the night and day difference.
Exactly.
Remember when Trump was trying to hit Biden on Ebola? Ebola.
Right.
In the fucking primary? That is a huge difference. That goes to show that governance and politics matters when it comes to this kinds of stuff. He proved
you have
Biden's point.
The most sort of, I think, dramatic example of public health policy that exists. And public health policy is all a function of politics. Even the question as to should public health be a function of politics is a political question. Nothing exists in a vacuum here. There is no alien to come down and go like, look, this is serious, guys. This is a pandemic. So we're not going to allow you to quibble and go back and forth about public health policy. We know what it is. We're thousands of years advanced from you guys. Trust us. All right. We're just going to impose this and back off. Nobody politicizes. That doesn't exist. And so this is all political.
It just shows you, how much of the Republican Party is rooted in we, rich white men, know more than you people. Let us handle it. We don't need a conversation about this. Stop politicizing it. Stop having debates about things that affect your lives. We've got this covered. The CDC is well funded enough. You listen to us. No debate. Oh, and meanwhile, look away while we take money from the coffers and privatize everything. And because that's ultimately what it is. It's distract away, make it about political quibbling and partisanship rather than having real conversations about, well, where is this money going? It's distraction. It's a distraction technique over and over and over.